Mike's mom is an alcoholic that's cheating with a cutie. Mike shoots them both while in his mind. Then his friend Chick shows up in a fucking stolen car. Tatiana doesn't want them to partake, so they make sure she sees them now. Goodbye, Berlin. Auf Wiedersehen, Berlin. Goodbye, Berlin. Goodbye, Berlin. Choose Berlin. The following podcast contains spoilers for Goodbye, Berlin. You've been warned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glen Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto.
That's me.
That is a him.
Yes, you all just heard my sick singing, and I don't mean sick in a good way.
I mean, pretty fucking sick.
I was sick while I recorded it, and also had a cough drop in my mouth, so you probably might have heard clanking around of that.
Yeah, I heard it slapping around.
God, it started already. How you doing, Glenn?
I am doing good. This fucking fan is off, and we all know how irritated I get with the sweat and the hot room.
That's the true.
But, Mike, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm still recovering.
You are a little bit fine.
You said you had a little tickle in your throat, but I doubt it's from me.
No, it was it went away. For some reason, I had a tickle around like 5 o'clock, and it's gone now. I think I just really needed water.
Yeah, because I thought I was scot-free because my wife had it 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks before I got it, and I was like, I'm fine.
Spaghetti-o.
It's not COVID, by the way. I did check to make sure it was not COVID.
Good man.
But I was like, I'm fine, and then 2 weeks later, my eldest boy got it. And then I got it the very next day. And yeah, it's a thing. But anyway, Glen.
Oh, sickness. Oh, yeah, huh?
It's been a while since we talked about movies. What movies have you watched since we last recorded?
The funny story is I've only watched a little bit, but that's kind of just the truth how it is lately. I had watched the show called Shogun. Mm-hmm. I finished it. It's all done. I watched it. It's really good. Hiroyuki Sanada, what a fucking guy. He's always perfect in every way. It's a great show. Really easy watch. I watched it before I passed out for a little bedtime every night, and then just cranked it out. It was good.
That's good.
Really good. Can't wait for a second season whenever that actually does happen.
Yeah.
And that'll be cool.
The book it's based on is on my wish list, but it's 1,198 pages. So
it's a big boy. I saw it at Barnes & Noble. I'm like, ooh, do I fucking get that? And then I saw that it was 2 books. I'm like, I'm going to back up now. And I did. I slowly backed away.
Yeah.
And then I found on YouTube there's like a marathon channel for Jackie Chan movies. And so now the last week I've just been, whenever I'm sitting down before bed or anything, I'll just click on these movies. So I'm either just falling asleep to them or I'm watching them. I learned a lot about these movies. I noticed that even in the subs that it's most likely not Jackie Chan doing his own voice lines for the movie.
Interesting. What movie is this?
This one is, I watched 2. Fully. I watched all the movies in the marathon, but I watched 2 fully, actually paying attention to them. The first one that I watched was Crime Story, which was really good. It was one of his more serious movies that he did in China, and it was genuinely really good. There's just some plot points that just kind of I don't take seriously. It's not a comedy. It's an actual drama, crime drama. And it's really good, but so that was Crime Story, and then I watched City Hunter, which is a completely different spectrum of what I just said. He's still a cop, but this one is like they perfectly encapsulated like anime, but in real life. And I don't know how else to describe the movie besides that. They literally have Jackie Chan as Chun-Li and all the Street Fighters, or not all of the Street Fighters characters, but like a good chunk of the Street Fighters characters in this. And then he's fighting just a blonde ponytail dude. This movie's hilarious. I gave it a 4 because just it was good. It's a little pervy, but like that's also anime too. So I feel like it was just basing itself off anime.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good. I watched a bunch of the other ones in the marathons, but not enough to warrant me giving it a score or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to watch that because it's apparently still going round and round. And I noticed that a bunch of the channel had a bunch of other ones too of different actors and stuff that they're doing marathons on. But after that, we watched Watchers because I didn't watch too much else besides that. And then we'll get into that in just a little bit. Not that, but we did a review on that.
Yeah.
It's up. Sorry, my mind's boggled somewhere in the ether.
Yes.
But then I watched Goodbye Berlin. Mike, tell me all about your journeys.
Yeah, well, you forgot one because it's been so long. We did watch Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
You know, I was fighting to put that on. I'm like, damn it, did we put that on the last podcast or not? 15 days ago, I don't think we did.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, we have a review for that up on the YouTube, so you can check that out. Then I watched the mini-series Baby Reindeer, for those of you who don't know what it's about. It is a comedian, a Scottish comedian, made this stage show about his personal life and having a stalker and everything. And then it became this Netflix miniseries. So it's based on his experience with a stalker and everything. It's good overall. It just kind of... I feel like you'll have a similar problem because you and I don't really have a problem with conflict. And it just... The entire time I was watching it was just like... People need to teach their kids to be okay with conflict. Like, the best way to do that is make them feel comfortable in arguing with you. There's so many people where it's just like, if they ever argued with their parents, they would get in trouble. It's like, you can argue and be respectful at the same time. And so, I don't know this guy's childhood, but, you know, he just would not have conflict until it got too far. Like, he let it get to the boiling point. So that was just kind of annoying to me. The rest of the show is fantastic, and it has a lot of interesting character moments for both him and his stalker. It doesn't just, like, shrug her off as some crazy lady. It's just like, oh, she needs help, kind of thing, which is probably my favorite part of it. But still, at the same time, I was just like, if you were just raised to be okay with conflict, this would not be happening to you right now. So yeah, don't be nice to people who are mean to you.
Yeah.
Just a thing. This is the second thing I've seen where that was my takeaway.
It's nice to be nice to people, but also, you know, you can defend yourself a little bit.
Then I watched a movie, a German film called Run Lola Run. It's one of those movies that everyone says that you should watch. And just for some reason, I put it off. It kind of has the same thing with The Beach, where the poster is terrible. At least the poster that I saw. Some of the posters are okay, and it also suffers from that late '90s, early 2000s feel. Yeah, which was not a great feel. So I just put it off for a long time. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film. Glad I finally watched it.
Hell yeah.
Wish I watched it a little bit sooner. But yeah, there you go. Then I rewatched The Road because I had just finished the book earlier this year, or finished rereading it. Still love that movie. First time I've watched it since having a child. It hits different when you have a child. Then I watched Goodbye Berlin, which we're going to get into in just a second. The Watchers, we have a review for that up on the YouTube. And then I proved myself to be more of a weeb than Glen, because I have now seen as many Studio Ghibli movies as he has when I watch Kiki's Delivery Service. I can't pronounce the names, apparently.
It's okay.
Kiki's Delivery Service, everyone told me that this was probably one I was going to like, because I hadn't really liked any anime until My Neighbor Totoro. That one I really legitimately liked, and then everyone's like, oh, you should watch Kiki's Delivery Service. And this one was just meh. There's no conflict until the last 20 minutes. It's just, which is fine. There doesn't need to be, but it was just kind of boring in my opinion.
Yeah, you've also watched one that I haven't watched too. So
Yeah.
I've got no opinion on it so far.
Well, you haven't seen My Neighbor Totoro either, have you?
You're right, actually. Holy shit.
Yeah, so both the ones I have seen, you haven't.
And what's funny, I think I own My Neighbor, but I don't. I didn't watch it because I want to. Ghibli Fest always happens, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch those fucking movies, and then they never happen at my specific theater, so I always forget about them.
And you don't want to drive 15 minutes to.
I mean, it's not that bad of a drive, but I just don't want to go to KOP by myself. I don't want to go to KOP by myself. That's the thing.
You gotta see. That's the thing. When you get older, you gotta be okay with hanging out by yourself.
Well, I mean, I used to always watch movies by myself before we hung out, and that was fine. I just now I think it's just a different I'm just tired of seeing movies all the time, especially by myself.
It's going to be hard with me with having 2 kids now, but if you ever want me to go to one, I will try my best to go to one.
You're good. It's also Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, I think.
Those are not really good times.
Yeah, so it's okay. I'm not breaking my own heart.
But anyway, that's really all I watched. Well, there's a few others, but I'm not going to get into them. But let's get into Goodbye Berlin. Ooh.
Ist der geklaut? Nein, Mann, ist nur geliehen.
Ich fahr doch jetzt nicht zurück.
Young teenage boys steal a car and embark on a road trip that will probably change their lives.
Yes, directed by Fatih Akin, written by Wolfgang.
What did you say?
Fatih Akin, I believe is how you pronounce that.
In my head, I was like, "Fuck this" or something. I was like, "Whoa!"
Written by Wolfgang Herrndorf, Lars Hubrich, and Fatih Akin, starring Tristan Goebel, Ania Wendel, Justina Humph. Where's that guy? Where is that guy who plays Chick? Anand Batbileg, Chulun Batar.
Casting on IMDb's all over the place.
He's Russian, I believe. The character's Russian, at least. And I believe he is also Russian, like Siberian, maybe. But yeah, that is... Oh, there's also Zania Azensa, who played... Well, no, was that... Who was the one that they ran into? That was Issa, right? That they ran into?
Yeah.
Why? I hate that IMDb does this. Just put the most important people up top.
I had to look it up yesterday.
Oh, there we go. Mercedes Mueller. That's a much easier name to pronounce. Mercedes Mueller. But yeah, this came up on IMDb, or not IMDb, Streaming Roulette last week. I was between that and an Irfan Khan movie, which I forget the name of, but still looks pretty good, and I will go back and find it. But yeah, we picked it because we haven't... It's been probably since Son of Rambo. I didn't confirm, since we've seen a coming-of-age movie, and wanted to watch another one. And Glenn...
Yeah.
You had a bit of a time watching this, I know that. Not so much the movie's fault, but it was a time.
It was a time. So when I went to look up the movie to watch it, I didn't go to... You watched it on Tubi, right?
Yeah.
I just clicked on the first website that popped up on Google for typing in Goodbye Berlin, and I don't even remember what it was. It was called like Zomu or some shit like that. But basically, the app made me watch an ad every 10 minutes, which and it's not just one ad. It was like 4 ads in the span of the ads.
Yeah.
So I was watching 4 ads every 10 minutes for 130 minutes. Or 90 minutes. Jesus Christ.
That's still 9 ad breaks. That's a lot.
That's still 9 ad breaks and just straight up 4 ads per. So
yeah,
we were going to do it like the other day. And then after I finished, I was like, dude, I can't lie to you. My brain is frazzled right now. Just watching all those ads.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
But, so yeah, that was my fun little experience on this bad boy.
Yeah. Tubi only had like 3, maybe 4 ad breaks. So it wasn't too bad. They were long, but like I'd rather have a few long ones than one every 10 minutes. That's 4 ads.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, I guess 4 ads would be like 2 minutes. So Yeah, that's the three that I had were 2 minutes long each. So
It was something, man. It was
yeah.
something.
But this, I mean, this really wasn't on my radar at all until streaming roulette, and I gotta say, there's a big difference in cultures between Germany and America, where like his mom being an alcoholic is just kind of like, hey, she's an alcoholic, whatever.
Yeah, good for her, man.
And in the United States, it'd be like, oh, that's some seventh heaven bullshit that's coming my way. Got to have a what are they called? After school special about my mom.
Yep.
And
Wait,
so yeah,
what did they call that in this when she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go away, or like as a beauty something. It's like a beauty resort or some shit.
yeah, beauty resort.
Like she said.
Well, she was joking. She
yeah.
didn't.
Well, yeah, I was what she was calling it was a beauty resort, but like
Yeah.
every summer she went to basically AA.
Clearly wasn't working.
Like a summer camp for AA.
Clearly wasn't working. But like
Yeah.
in the beginning, I thought like it was going to be, oh, she was going to turn a new leaf and everything. Mm-hmm. And for a second, I thought she did. After the accident, she comes in. It's the only time you see her sober is in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then of course that's when she finds out that her husband's a piece of shit, and then just spirals down it. And then it ends with him saying, my mom being an alcoholic's not that bad. And it's like, oh, okay.
All right.
I mean, I'm glad you're okay with it. And I know that like drinking in Germany is kind of part of the culture.
I think it helps them
She
being
should
so
still get
close, but yeah, she definitely.
She was never abusive, which was good. It was just like she was sloppy.
Yeah.
There's been a few times where, I shouldn't say that.
Bubbly.
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 Yes,
she was very bubbly.
It doesn't remind me of anyone in my life whatsoever, and will never come out as reminding me of anyone in my life whatsoever. So moving on, and then of course the Germans are way more comfortable with, especially top nudity from women than than Americans are, which I don't have a problem with. I think free the nip and all that.
Was not ready for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really is stupid that it's this whole thing.
No,
Like,
100% free that
it's
thing,
stupid.
but that took me by surprise when you said it real fast.
But
Like,
yeah, the thing that I did that for comedic effect. The thing that was kind of like not jarring in a way is that the main character in this, Mike, no relation to me because first names don't work that way, and also he spells it differently. He's 14. The actor's 14 in this,
Yep.
and then Mercedes Mueller, who plays Issa,
Yep.
she's 20, and she's topless in front of him.
dude,
Which would not fly in the U.S. for filming and all that.
was she 20 in the movie? Like, it seemed like she was like a 16-year-old kid.
Well, she might have been, but I'm talking about like the actor.
I know. In real
Yeah.
life, she was 20. I had to look it up. I looked it up so fast because I'm like, did I just fucking end up on a list right now?
Yeah.
I got so scared and I just looked it up as fast as possible.
Yeah, Thora Birch in American Beauty was only 17. She got permission from her parents and everything.
Great.
So
Two unwarranted things that I just saw there.
yeah,
But yeah, I got so scared during that scene. I was like, oh fuck, oh god, this is gross.
So it was just kind of weird being like, and I know her character was supposed to be younger, but like just knowing that the actress was 20 and he was 14, I mean, I don't have a problem with it because again, top nudity is stupid.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, yeah, that would not happen in the U.S. There's a movie, I believe it's called Birth, with Nicholas Hoult and Nicole Kidman, I believe. I might be mixing this up with another movie. Let's see. Where's Nicholas Hoult? Oh, no, it is this. It's not Nicholas. I'm thinking Nicholas Hoult is not in this movie, so I'm thinking of something different. But Cameron Bright and Nicole Kidman, where he plays a boy, and she thinks that this boy is her dead husband reincarnated, and they take a bath together. And there's all this hubbub about her being naked in front of him. And they had to like prove that they shot the things separately and then digitally stitched them together. And I mean that was a much bigger difference than 20 and 14. Yeah. But that just kind of puts you in the mindset of the puritanical America we live in. And also that scene was sexual in nature, so I get it at the same time. It reminded me of that and how different the two countries are.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that I noticed about this movie. Well, not the first thing I noticed about this movie because that's pretty late in the movie. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I am curious about what the age she was supposed to be in this movie. But also, the age of consent, too, is it's such a weird conversation to be having. But
yeah.
Anyway, just know that I was freaking the fuck out when that part happened. I was like, oh, no. Oh, God, this is gross. Oh,
I can
God.
tell you it wouldn't be on Tubi if it was illegal in the States.
Yeah, and then I looked her up. I'm like, oh, thank God she's only 3 years younger than me. Because now she's 28. Congratulations.
Yeah. But Glenn, what did you think of this movie overall? I know we both said we don't have too much to say about it. I'm surprised that I went on that long of a tangent about the differences.
That's all right. I mean, I enjoyed this movie. It was... I think getting to the little adventures the boy has had took a minute, but it wasn't took dreadfully long to get there.
Yeah.
And I like the friendship that they had, two kind of being outcasts of the class that they had.
Yeah, and Mike didn't even like Chick at first. Chick just kind of showed up and was like, well, "You're hanging out with me, okay?"
Because Mike's kind of like a. I wouldn't necessarily say that he gets picked. Maybe he does get picked on. I guess that's right. I had my zipper down this whole time, and so don't look at my pants, guys. Anyway, I think he does get picked on a little bit in the beginning, but I wouldn't say he necessarily gets super duper bullied. Am I correct?
Yeah, he's more ignored than anything.
Yeah. And then I mean, there is one point where he gets picked on a little bit, but it's not crazy bad. And then Chick kind of does he stand up for him? This is why I like watching movies and then doing the podcast instead of a couple days later.
Someone was making fun of Chick, and Chick stood up for himself.
Oh, okay.
And then no one, he just whispered 2 words into the guy's ear.
Oh, that's right.
And then it freaked everyone out, so no one messed with him after that.
Speaking of Chick, the haircut, man, holy shit, that was that was something. And I couldn't stop getting a giggle out of it.
I don't know if that's a Russian thing or a European thing, but I've seen that haircut on multiple people.
I don't know. It was...
I don't know if it's still a haircut, because what is this?
I mean,
this
I don't
only
doubt
8 years old.
But I mean, it might be...
People who have that haircut, it doesn't look good.
Might be a popular haircut somewhere else, but for me, I was just giggling. I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Those ears got to get cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just have the bangs flapping in his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, Chick, what are you doing, man? But yeah, like I was saying, it took a minute to get to the actual road, and then once they did, it's kind of fucked up. As soon as they started the journey, that the dad just left for a vacation that was how long?
2 weeks or 10 days or something.
So the mom just left for the beauty farm or whatever it was called, and then he just left his kid there by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, granted he's 14 years old, but 2 weeks by himself is crazy.
I would say at 14, maybe you let them stay one night.
Or at least if you're having they were well off. Mike's family was well off, so he could have hired a nanny of sorts.
They weren't well off. You missed that part too. That was his dad was a real estate agent, and that was a house that they built, but then they couldn't build anymore because they found an archaeological dig or something.
Oh.
And so they were just living in the house that his company owned. But yeah.
I assumed they were. I mean, I remember that conversation, but I assumed they were. I knew they weren't rich, but I assumed they were
they're
well off
probably
enough.
better off than Chick's parents.
Especially since he's taking a 2-week vacation with his employee. I don't know, but yeah, that was fucked up. But the dad was already a piece of shit. But I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody's home with your child. I mean, I thought he was a stepdad for so long because he just didn't seem to care about the kid.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, that's crazy. But once it started to get into the buddy-buddiness of Chick and Mike driving around together, it started to pick up, and I started to enjoy it. The little adventures they had, obviously they're kind of pieces of little teenage shits for the most part on the things they were doing.
They're dumb too.
Yep.
There were I can't remember any specific questions, but when they were having dinner with that family.
Oh, the breakfast.
And and they were the mom was asking questions for the kids to have dessert. There are some of those German history questions that I knew, and I don't live in Germany. And it was like one of the really easy ones towards the end, but like it was like the one right before what they knew. I can't remember what the question was, but I was just like screaming the answer. Well, not really, but like just. I knew the answer. I was like, these guys are fucking morons. They don't know basic German history.
I mean, it kind of showed that they were kind of doofs from the beginning because they were doing really bad on their tests. So, like, it at least showed that they were both kind of not caring. As you know,
he wanted to cook a frozen pizza with a lighter. He wanted to.
I mean, that is some childish shit that like teenagers would do.
It's hilarious. Yeah. But when that happened, I was just like, oh my God, these guys are fucking morons. It's one thing to not know how to drive a stick shift at that age.
Yeah.
I'm 34 and don't know how to drive a stick shift because it's an
31 and
obsolete
don't know
technology. And no one can. What if you need to get somewhere and it's the only car around? 90% of the cars sold in the United States are automatic.
Yeah, they're like slowly depleting the stick shifts. But
it's a very rare chance that the only car around is a stick shift.
Yeah. So that was, I think once their adventure the thing started, it started to pick up. But there was a point where if Issa didn't join, then it was gonna keep dragging. Like, okay, this is kind of getting old. Because they were kind of just doing dumb teenage shit.
Yeah.
But so like when Issa came up, I was like, okay, there's a little twist that was good for the pacing. And then I started to like her. Also, if you want to chime in, please do. I don't know if I'm just ongoing.
No, keep
here.
going. I'm enjoying your thoughts.
I really started to like Issa, especially after she stopped yelling like a lot.
Stop calling them the R word.
Yeah, just a little redundance, a couple redundants.
Retardandos. It's a music term. I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah, so like once she stopped yelling and started kind of mingling with the group a little bit better, I started really liking her too. Yeah. And then like I wouldn't say almost instantly, but pretty much after the whole lake part, she kind of just goes, and I'm like, oh, well, there goes that. And they make a little pact, and that was cute. And they were going to meet back up in the year 2066, which is fucking forever away.
Wait 3 more years and make it 2069, baby.
Yeah, could have done it, man. You could have
made it fun.
But I think she disappeared a little too fast.
Yeah, it kind of took away from the impact of it. Where it's just like, I really like this character, but not to the point where her leaving is really making me feel anything.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, bye. Damn.
Yeah. And I mean, I know, I don't doubt that Mike's character would have felt something, because when you're 14 and any girl shows you any kind of attention and then she's just gone, it's like, you think it's the end of the world. So I don't doubt that his character felt it, but as the audience member, I did not feel anything once she left, and just thought it was kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, there's girls back when I was 14 that I never even got to talk to, and I'm like, damn, I missed my chance. I'm sure Mike was fucking kicking his feet on the little stool that he was sitting on, just be like, oh man, what could have been? What could have been?
The Mike in this, not me, Mike.
Yeah, not you, Mike. But yeah, she went away too fast, and it was kind of disappointing. Like, for Mike's character, it was nice for her to be there and kind of realize that there's more girls than what's her face, Tatiana, that he could be interested in. So like it was good for him. And then he disappeared, or she disappeared, and then it kind of went back with those two. And then what I really liked is, like, for the whole movie, like, you're like, okay, Mike could be gay. Like, maybe this is like an awakening for him with these two. Mike actually could be gay. Chich doesn't seem it, but Mike could be like awakening to this. And I was like, I'm kind of waiting for it. And then they flipped the script on me, and then Cheech came out and said that he likes dudes.
It's just Chick.
What did I say?
You said Chick at first, then it turned to Chich, and then you just called him Cheech, like Cheech and Chong.
Fucking anyway, Tick.
Chick.
Chick. Anyway, Chick. Then he came out to
Yeah.
Mike, and
I thought that was like kind of refreshing. You know,
it was really refreshing.
It didn't feel forced, especially because in the beginning when they first hang out, he like jokes about Mike being gay and then touches his thigh in a way that's way more comfortable with, you know, joking about touching your friend's thigh.
Yeah.
For someone you just more or less met. Like, if it's like my friends that I've known for 20 years, I would do something like that as a joke. But like when it's someone you just met, it was like really comfortable. Or it legitimately felt like he was coming on to him for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about that until he had this big speech about how he was gay, and I was just like, oh wow, okay. That was a seed that was planted in the beginning, and then it actually like
he was trying to plant some seeds too.
he was trying to plant some seeds. But yeah, it was just kind of a nice. I would say the only thing was that it was just like the weird time to bring it up.
Yeah, it was very weird timing.
But it just kind of felt like they were maybe rushed with the time and
yeah. I mean, it was like a vulnerable moment, so I guess I could see that.
Yeah, and maybe it's more fluid in the German language, but reading the subtitles, it's just like, oh no, my foot. Oh, by the way, I'm gay.
Oh, wiener time. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I just thought it was a nice touch and added a lot to the character of Chick, especially, you know, I'm sure that the LGBT community is much more welcomed in Germany than they are in parts of the United States, unfortunately. But, you know, I could see it still being like something that he is kind of ashamed of and kind of felt that way in a way. So yeah, I just thought it was an interesting touch to the character.
100%. I kind of wonder if it was more, it would have been more well timed if he did it after their accident at the end of the movie, and like they had to separate, and he was like, you know, I kind of don't want to leave you. I kind of have feelings for you, my man. I wonder if it was maybe that would have felt more forced there, or if it would have been a little bit better. I guess it kind of depends on if we saw it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. At the end, you know, the dad gets really fucking pissed off after the accident that Mike basically...
Bold move beating your child outside of a
Superman punched him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, an accident that Mike technically didn't really cause himself because that truck driver, for some god-awful reason, was just being a cuck. Sorry,
I don't know why you using the word cuck makes me laugh so much, but it does every single time. I just like
using wrong words correctly.
Yeah. Wrong words correctly, great.
Yeah, feel that in your brain. But yeah, Superman punching Mike after that was just really funny to me. I'm like, he just fucking knocked him out. But you know, for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. You know, him having a nice, happy moment with his alcoholic mother after she got back after Mike's little thing, and then curious where that relationship went after that. But you know, it's fine.
I feel like I could have had like 15 to 20 more minutes, either with Issa or with the ending.
Definitely with Issa.
Yeah,
just a little bit more.
I feel like that would be better than you know with the mom. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. It was a bit awkward at moments, but I mean it's a coming of age movie, so that's always going to happen.
Like I'm curious if Issa would have just stayed with them until the accident, and then she got sent home to her sister. And then, or I don't know how old she was. I don't know if she would have been in, child protective service, whatever it is in Germany. But she would have gotten sent to her sister regardless if she was young enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Or mother. I don't know. She didn't really talk about her family too much besides that.
It would have been nice to know more about her family.
Yeah, a nice 10 minutes with that would have been nice.
Yeah, she just kind of came in for a brief moment, was literally just a pair of tits for the main character.
And some kissy wissies. Had a little bit more growth after that. But it would have been nice for having more growth, so it wasn't just like... Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's an unrealistic sexual awakening for a kid.
It wasn't enough that Mike had a little growth during that part,
Not me, Mike.
Yeah, not him, Mike.
The German
but
Mike.
the other Mike. During those kissy-wissy scenes.
Yeah.
Mike had plenty of growth there, but we can move on from that.
Yes.
Dear Lord.
The last thing I have to say is seeing that little tiny car do donuts was hilarious.
That tiny car period was dope.
Yeah. It's European cars are fun. And I don't really have anything else to say.
I thought one thing I'll add is that I thought them rolling up to the party of Tatiana's party, and then I like the fact that they came in, dropped off the present, and dipped the fuck out instead of like hanging on and wondering or all that type of shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was good that they came in, did the objective they came to do, and just moved on with their lives and did their little journey.
I'll tell you what, they made Tatiana see him for sure.
She wouldn't stop staring as soon as they went back. He went back to school.
Yeah.
He was a little bad boy, man, after he got dropped off in a police car.
And beaten by his father.
Superman punch will do that to you, man.
Nothing will make you cooler to the ladies than being abused by your father. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Please stop abusing your children.
For real, though.
For real. But yeah, that's really all I got to say.
Yeah, pretty much same here.
Yes, so that does it for the review of Goodbye Berlin. That brings us to the judgment. It is Streaming Roulette Week, so it needs to be a unanimous decision whether or not it goes on the KFR shelf. Streaming Roulette Week, but so we don't know who goes first. Glenn, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails, you go first.
I would say I enjoyed this movie, but I don't know if I'd say I enjoyed it enough to be putting it on the shelf. I thought it was a fun little time. It was a cool little watch. That's about. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anybody unless they're looking for coming of age movies, where you get to question whether or not you just accidentally saw a young girl's tits against your will. It's a very high demand for being on that list, but have fun with that random fucking person. I didn't want to be scared like that.
She's 20 years old.
She's 20 years old, but I was scared.
Yeah. But no, I agree with 100% of everything you said. I've seen movies with stranger young nudity than that. So, El Topo is one.
El Topo.
Which I don't understand why people love it so much. It's weird. The director put his son naked in it for like 30 minutes.
Oh, man, what a silly goose.
It's so weird. And it's just, I feel bad for that kid. I hope he's okay now. He's an adult now.
I hope you're okay.
But anyway, yeah, so I agree with Goodbye Berlin. It's a good movie, but not one that I'm like going to be throwing at people every time they ask for a recommendation. But I will probably drop that song I made as a spoof of Goodbye Moon Men onto Spotify or something. We'll find out. Probably not, because I feel like there's legal things that I'm not willing to do with that. But yes.
Last thing, sorry. There was a couple songs in the soundtrack of this that I was fucking jamming to. Especially, there was a song, the Royal Bloods was in here. I was like, ooh, this shit's got some bangers. And I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
Jack White, with the he had a song in there as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty good soundtrack.
It was good job, soundtrack. Yeah. Good job.
But yes, so Goodbye Berlin does not make it on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaid. And that brings us to next week. It's my turn to pick a movie, which really means it's Glenn's turn to pick a movie. I have a giant list of movies that I'm going to make him pick a number, and then I'm going to pick the one that corresponds with, and the number is between 1 and 50.
We're going to go with Mike's age and 14.
Oh.
Yeah, not
you
your
really got to
Mike.
specify which Mike.
Mike.
Okay, so we are. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, speaking of pedophilia.
Oh, dear God. What did I do to myself here?
Let me just make sure it is on streaming. Yes, it is going to be on Roku or Tubi, and then you can rent it if you wish. 2006 film called Little Children. With your boy, Patrick Wilson.
With my boy.
Yes.
My man.
The lives of two love-lorn spouses from separate marriages a registered sex offender, and his disgraced ex-police officer intersect as they struggle to resist their vulnerabilities and temptations in suburban Massachusetts. Directed by Todd Field, who that name sounds familiar. I feel like he did something recently. He did Tar. Yes, he did something very recently. Directed by Todd Field, written by Todd Field and Tom Perrotta. Starring Kate Winslet, Jennifer Connelly, Patrick Wilson, Jackie Earle Haley, which I believe he was nominated for an Oscar for this.
Ooh.
I'll look at that later. Noah Emmerich, Greg Edelman, Phyllis Somerville, and many others. Ty Simpkins. This is where the first movie that Ty Simpkins and Patrick Wilson worked on together.
He was nominated for an Oscar in this.
Oh, see, look at me knowing things.
You do know.
I know things. But yes, 2 hours, 17 minutes, so a bit of a long one. I have seen this before. 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb and 75 Metacritic score. So the internet seems to think that this is worth the 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, so.
Well, if it's got I can almost see his ass cheeks. If I could see Patrick Wilson's ass cheeks, it deserves a 7.5.
If I will say one thing, this movie's kind of horny, and not the pedophile part.
I can't wait to see the letterbox comments.
Yes.
The reviews. Those bastards are horny as fuck.
They
all the
really
time.
are. To the point of discomfort sometimes.
Yeah, it's especially, what was it, Sinbad with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Horny fucking bastards. I need a squirt bottle and to know where they live so I could just dismantle
Sinbad
them.
with Brad Pitt. Oh, the animated
cartoon,
Sinbad,
yeah.
Yes. So, Little Children is our assignment for next week. Rough watch. By that I mean subject matter, but it is worth the watch. I'm not going to say whether it's worth because it's bad or good. You could probably surmise what I'm talking about.
I thought we could make something really beautiful.
Something for my mommy.
It's the hunger for an alternative, and the refusal to accept a life of unhappiness. Aaron's been telling me about his new friend Lucy. She sounds like a sweet little girl. What's her mother like?
I read one comment.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yes, I'm
All
ready.
caps, by the way. I want to ride Patrick Wilson like a bike.
Did you write that one? I feel like I've heard you say those exact words before.
No.
So, Little Children is our assignment for next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. As always, you can check out our website, www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I'm Mike, KFR.
And I'm Glen, KFR.
And that will do it until next week. When I'm not going to make any jokes because this movie's pretty serious and pretty somber. And
oh, boy.
it's not what you expect in a good way or a bad way. Terrible
bad
way.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to get everything away.
Who knows?
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.